Nights on K2 News at 5 and 6:30. Recording star Chris Isaac.
Monday on AM Northwest.
On World News Tonight this Sunday, the Enron scandal grows. Accounting firm lawyers reportedly ordered the destruction of key documents 3 months ago. Are the airlines prepared to meet government airport security deadlines? Prince Harry's punishment for experimenting with drugs and alcohol. And the last mile for an American classic.
From ABC News, World Headquarters in New York, this is World News Tonight, Sunday.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Carol Simpson. The latest twist in the Enron investigation centers on a memo. Congressional investigators have told Time magazine that lawyers for the giant accounting firm Arthur Andersen, in a memo, ordered employees to destroy documents. ABC's Linda Douglas has the report.
For Enron's accountant, Arthur Andersen, a bad situation got worse today. Last week, Andersen disclosed that some of its employees had destroyed Enron documents. Tonight, Time magazine reports that 4 days before Enron announced it had lost $618 million, an Arthur Andersen lawyer sent out a memo that directed workers to destroy all audit material except for basic work papers. The chairman of the Senate Government Affairs Committee, which is investigating Enron's collapse, says Andersen may now be facing criminal charges.
This kind of memo to destroy documents raises very serious questions about whether obstruction of justice occurred here.
Tonight, in a statement, Arthur Andersen said, "We acknowledge there were internal communications that raised questions. Until we know more, it would be inappropriate to comment further." The Senate's investigation will also be looking into Enron's ties to the administration. The White House has acknowledged that Enron CEO Ken Lay called Commerce Secretary Don Evans and Treasury Secretary Paul O'Neill just before Enron's collapse. Evans said today he did tell the White House Chief of Staff about those calls.
I was over there one day and I stepped into Andy Card's office and told him I received this call.
The White House says Card did not tell the president. And today the Treasury Secretary said he saw no reason to tell Mr. Bush about his conversations with Enron.
And I'm not going to spend endless hours running across the street telling the president about telephone calls.
Some Democrats say the administration should have done something to protect Enron's workers. The Treasury Secretary said today, though, that there was no reason for the government to get involved in saving Enron. He called Enron's collapse an example of the genius of capitalism because it shows how companies can rise and fall based on their own merits rather than because of control from the government. Senator Lieberman called those statements today outrageous and cold-blooded, Carol.
Thank you very much. ABC's Linda Douglas reporting from Capitol Hill. Enron's ties to power are not limited to Washington. In Houston, where the company is based, Enron's connections to members of the legal community are complicating scores of lawsuits. ABC's Mike Von Fremd is in Houston tonight.
Enron was so big and powerful here in Texas that there's hardly an institution or elected official that hasn't benefited from Enron's bank account. This weekend, the Texas Attorney General, who received nearly $200,000 in Enron money, had to disqualify himself. If any of the 30 lawsuits now in state court make their way to the Texas Supreme Court, it will be an unprecedented dilemma, because 7 of the 9 Texas Supreme Court justices also received a total of $134,000 from Enron and its executives.
There's very few politicians who are immune from a conflict of interest in the state of Texas in the Enron matter. Pretty soon we're going to have to go down and get the employees from the Capitol mailroom to be independently look at the Enron fiasco and fallout.
There are so many lawsuits against Enron and so many officials have had to disqualify themselves that the legal process here is on the verge of grinding to a halt.
The regulatory investigation may very well retard some of the criminal prosecution. So there are going to be people stepping all over each other, including the politicians, of course, who are seeking to make some political hay out of Enron's demise.
Attorneys say the slowdown may actually buy Enron some valuable time to avoid a forced liquidation of their remaining assets. But Charles Prestwood, who worked for Enron for 33 years and lost $1.3 million in his retirement savings, says he cannot afford to wait for a settlement.
You take the old retirees like myself, we're too old to get out on the job market and start life again.
And he knows that with his former company in bankruptcy and the legal process bogged down, the chance of recouping anything is slim. Mike Von Fremd, ABC News, Houston.
Turning now to Afghanistan. U.S. warplanes again bombed an al-Qaeda training complex near the eastern Afghan city of Khost today. And the bodies of 6 of the 7 U.S. Marines killed in Pakistan last week are on their way home to Dover Air Force Base in Delaware. It is still not known what caused their refueling plane to crash. Another flight has left Kandahar tonight. On board, 30 more Taliban and al-Qaeda detainees. They will join 20 others who arrived at a U.S. naval base in Guantanamo Bay last week. ABC's Bill Blakemore reports from Kandahar.
When tonight's detainee flight took off from Kandahar Airport, security was even tighter than it was when the first one left for Cuba on Thursday.
It was a joint effort between Army military police and Air Force security forces. It went off flawlessly, exactly as we've been trained.
Lights at the airport were shut off, and attack dogs and Humvees with 50 caliber machine guns patrolled the area. Afghan commanders working with U.S. Special Forces say that patrols around the airport have become more strict, going house to house. It's a result, they say, of the attack 3 nights ago that erupted as the first detainee plane was taking off. The U.S. military says the plane was never under fire, but described it first as a minor incident involving small arms. Marines who returned fire now depict a coordinated attack designed to probe and test U.S. defenses. They showed us how close the attackers had come.
The first one that came out was right from that building right there.
From abandoned buildings and ditches less than 1,000 feet from the runway, they said, 10 to 14 attackers fired automatic weapons from 3 different positions for about 30 minutes, then disappeared.
I fired about 180 rounds. It just seemed like something out of a movie because you hear the radio like, engage, engage, engage.
While U.S. flares lit the area of the gunfight, American troops who were not fighting hunkered down in the terminal building for cover. Tonight, the U.S. military is still looking for the attackers and trying to figure out how they were able to test U.S. defenses and slip away. Bill Blakemore, ABC News in Kandahar, Afghanistan.
Next door to Afghanistan, tensions between Pakistan and India remain high, with hundreds of thousands of troops massed along their border. In phone calls to leaders of both nations, President Bush today urged them to continue their peace efforts. ABC's Dan Harris reports from Islamabad.
Even as Pakistani police shut down their offices and made scores of arrests, militant organizations today said they would not stop fighting against Indian rule in the largely Muslim province of Kashmir. Indian soldiers shot and killed 2 suspected militants who allegedly attacked a security patrol in Kashmir. This one day after Pakistani President Pervez Musharraf told his country he was banning the groups accused of attacking the Indian parliament last month.
Pakistan will not allow its territory to be used for any terrorist activity anywhere in the world.
India's prime minister, meeting with leaders from the country's top political parties today, welcomed that declaration. But his spokesman said Musharraf's words must be followed by deeds.
We would assess the effectiveness of this commitment only by the concrete action taken.
President Musharraf is in a serious political predicament. On the one hand, he's under enormous pressure to avert war by cracking down on extremists. On the other, he cannot be seen as caving in on the issue of Kashmir. India and Pakistan have already gone to war twice over this Himalayan province. These Pakistani journalists say Musharraf now has a unique opportunity to neutralize militant groups because they're weaker than ever.
Structurally, ideologically, the whole concept of jihad has taken a hammering in the Afghan war. This is the moment when, if Musharraf has the courage to do it, he should be able to strike.
India says when it's convinced that President Musharraf is seriously cracking down, then it will agree to enter into negotiations. In the meantime, the 2 countries still have about 1 million soldiers staring each other down all along the border. This week, U.S. Secretary of State Colin Powell comes to the region to try to push for progress. Dan Harris, ABC News, Islamabad.
Coming up on World News Tonight this Sunday, Keeping safe at the airport. Are airlines keeping up with the new security rules? The church's extraordinary apology for terrible crimes. And tough love, royal style.
This is World News Tonight, Sunday. Brought to you by Prescription Vioxx.
It seems like only yesterday. When I started skating at 8 years old, I never thought I'd experience the thrill of winning a medal. With all the great memories has come another thing I thought I'd never experience, the pain of osteoarthritis.
Vioxx is here, a prescription medicine for osteoarthritis pain. With one little pill a day, Vioxx can provide powerful 24-hour relief. Vioxx specifically targets only the COX-2 enzyme, a key source of arthritis pain. People with allergic reactions, such as asthma, to aspirin or other arthritis medicines, should not take Vioxx. In rare cases, serious stomach problems, such as bleeding, can occur without warning. Tell your doctor if you have liver or kidney problems. For more information, talk to your doctor about once daily Vioxx for the relief of osteoarthritis pain.
Perhaps my biggest victory is to be able to plan my day around my life instead of my pain.
Ask your doctor if Vioxx is right for you. Vioxx, for everyday victories.
Who wears white after Labor Day? Who wears white after Labor Day? Well, that was once considered a fashion faux pas. Now you can wear white any time of the year.
Want expert advice whenever you need it? Come to Office Depot, where our people listen, understand, and help.
How can I get organized?
With the new generation of handhelds, you can manage multiple... Be nice if everything was like that. Office Depot. What you need to know.
Delicious V8 vegetable juice has a full serving of vegetables. For when you want to eat right. Or, at the very least, drink right. V8. Drink smarter.
A controversial new ban at the Virginia Military Institute is likely to be challenged in court. The school, which was forced to accept women, begins a new policy tomorrow banning cadets from marriage and pregnancy. Critics say the order is unconstitutional. This coming Friday marks the deadline for new government regulations regarding airport security. The legislation, enacted in response to the September 11th attacks, has sparked much debate and complaints within the industry. ABC's Bob Jamieson has more.
Officials at Salt Lake City's airport this weekend began the final checks of a new security system that will deliver what the law requires, screening every bag for explosives. By the time the Olympic Games arrive next month, a multi-layered system will employ 84 devices that can detect trace amounts of explosives.
You got something in there, what?
Deploy teams of bomb-sniffing dogs and utilize 9 minivan-sized bomb detection machines. Using CAT scan technology, they can quickly identify explosives concealed in luggage.
Every passenger in every bag will either have their bags run through this device or screened with the ETD equipment, the trace devices.
But no other airport or the airlines, which still control most security functions, are prepared to meet Friday's deadline to screen every bag. There are too few people, too few dogs, and too few machines. Instead, the FAA has given the airlines the option of bag matching, something that is already done on international flights and by some domestic carriers like JetBlue.
How many bags are we taking, sir?
Bag matching uses existing computer technology to confirm that each checked bag belongs to a passenger who has boarded a plane. But security analysts say that won't prevent a suicide bombing.
The best security measure we have is the explosives detection technology. But we're not going to be able to deploy these machines for quite some time.
2,000 of the million-dollar machines will be required by the end of the year. But the two manufacturers haven't even increased production because Congress has yet to appropriate any money to buy them for the nation's airports. Bob Jamieson, ABC News, New York.
Families of those aboard the American Airlines flight that hit the World Trade Center plan a press conference in Boston tomorrow. At issue is the government's handling of the Victims' Compensation Fund. Many family members complain the rules regarding compensation are unfair. Also in Boston tomorrow, the trial of an accused pedophile begins. A Roman Catholic priest may have molested dozens and dozens of young boys with the knowledge of his superiors. As ABC's Ron Claiborne reports, the case has sparked an unprecedented apology from the Boston Archdiocese.
In his sermon this morning, Cardinal Bernard Law addressed the issue that has rocked the Boston Archdiocese. Allegations that a priest molested more than 100 young boys and that church officials did nothing to remove him.
Pray also for me, that the Lord may help me in my resolve to deal ever more effectively with this issue.
John Gagin is accused of molesting and raping boys as young as 4 years old over a period of 34 years. Despite complaints by parents, concerns by other priests, even his own admissions, Gagin wasn't charged with a crime until 1999. He was simply transferred from one parish to another. In 1984, Cardinal Law removed Gagin from St. Brendan's Parish after the priest admitted molesting 7 boys and transferred him to St. Julius. In 1986, he was admitted to this church clinic in Maryland for treatment for pedophilia, then returned to St. Julius in 1990. Finally, in 1998, he was removed from the priesthood. Last week, the cardinal apologized for what he called his tragically incorrect judgment.
I am indeed profoundly sorry.
Since 1997, the Boston Diocese has spent $10 million to settle lawsuits over allegations of molestation of children by Gagin. 84 civil lawsuits are still pending, some of which also name the diocese and Cardinal Law as co-defendants. John Sacco says Gagin molested him when he was 12 years old.
They knew about it back when I was being molested. I trusted that they knew what was going on, and they did know what was going on, but they just covered it up.
Gagin, now 66, faces 2 upcoming trials. This week in Cambridge on sexual assault and battery charges, and next month in Boston on a charge of rape.
The questions of what church officials knew about Father Gagin's case and when did they know it may be answered later this month when thousands of pages of internal diocese documents are made public under court order. Ron Claiborne, ABC News, Boston.
Last week, the Vatican announced new rules regarding child molestation cases. All cases must now be reported to the Vatican and tried in secret in Rome. Critics of the plan say the move protects the priests, but not the children. When we come back, why everyone's talking about Harry in Britain.
Uno's Fresh Taste.
The fishermen at San Francisco's Fisherman's Wharf. Hi, fishermen. Okay, now we have 2 tunas here. One's from the can. One's from Starkist in the Flavor Fresh pouch. As a fresh expert, which looks better to you?
I can tell you.
Oh.
That looks fresher.
Oh, it's very good tuna. That's on his fresh pot. The Starkist tuna and the Flavor Fresh pouch, yeah, much better.
Now there's Starkist new lunch to go. Enjoy the Flavor Fresh pouch anywhere with crackers, mayo, and relish.
When diet and exercise fail, adding Lipitor can help lower your total cholesterol 29 to 45%. Lipitor is not for everyone, including people with liver disease or possible liver problems, and women who are nursing, pregnant, or may become pregnant. Simple blood tests are needed to check for liver problems. Tell your doctor about other medications you are taking, or if you experience muscle pain or weakness, as they may be a sign of serious side effects. 1 in 5 people has high cholesterol. Millions need treatment. For less cholesterol, ask your doctor if Lipitor is right for you.
So, set up a department meeting for tomorrow and put in a call to the client. Get them up to speed. Anything else?
Here's a thought. Instead of saving money by not using paper, we could just go to Staples.
Yeah, with Staples 365 savings, they compare prices and back it up with a 110% price match guarantee.
I like that. Jot that down.
Low prices on every item, every day. Staples 365 savings. Yeah, we've got that.
An evening in front of the fireplace can be so relaxing, but each year there are thousands of reported chimney fires. Protect your home with CSL, the chimney sweeping log. It cleans your chimney while it burns. Inside your chimney walls, there's a constant buildup of highly flammable tar and creosote. The active minerals in CSL will dry out those dangerous deposits. Most of this dry, brittle material will then flake off harmlessly, making your next fires safer. So effective, burn it only once a year. CSL, the chimney sweeping log.
Available at Long's, Rite Aid, Walgreens, and participating Ace.
A first in 500 years for the British royal family. The leader of England's Roman Catholics was invited by the Queen to preach at today's service at an Anglican church. The service took place at the royal estate at Sandringham in eastern England. But the big story in Britain tonight is about Prince Harry, the teenage son of Prince Charles and the late Princess Diana. The story involves drugs, alcohol, and an unusual punishment designed to avoid problems in the future. ABC's Richard Gisbert reports.
It's every parent's nightmare, and if it happens to Britain's royal family, it's also the stuff of headlines. A spokesman for Prince Charles has confirmed that Prince Harry got into trouble last summer at age 16, frequently drinking underage at this pub, smoking marijuana there, and also smoking marijuana at Highgrove, his father's country residence. According to the story, Charles confronted the boy, who admitted it all, and sent him to this rehabilitation clinic in London. Prince Charles sent his son to the clinic not to undergo formal drug counseling, but as a kind of shock therapy, so he could speak to some hardcore addicts.
He was certainly taken aback by some of the things that he heard. The majority of time he was speaking to the people who are actually in recovery, mostly in recovery from addiction to heroin and cocaine.
Harry reportedly got the message and has been behaving ever since. Today, his father was praised for his handling of the affair.
The way that Prince Charles and the royal family have handled it is absolutely right, and they've done it in a very responsible and, as you would expect, in a very sensitive way for their child.
This is a very difficult situation.
Well, I mean, I know this myself.
Blair was referring to his eldest son, Ewan, who has also been caught drinking underage. With today's story so widely reported in the British press, Prince Harry was said to be deeply embarrassed over his indiscretions, the first real scandal involving the House of Windsor's youngest generation. Richard Gisbert, ABC News, London.
Back in this country, a senior American statesman is remembered tonight. Former Secretary of State Cyrus Vance, a victim of Alzheimer's disease, died in New York yesterday. Vance resigned from his post in the Carter administration in protest in 1980. He was the only cabinet member to protest President Carter's attempted military rescue of the American hostages in Iran. Cyrus Vance was 84. And we'll be right back.
The voice, unforgettable. The look, unmistakable. The man, Rod Stewart.
Wake up, Maggie, I think I got something to say to you.
The very best of Rod Stewart, a collection of landmark songs from one of rock's finest voices. Including Tonight's the Night, Do You Think I'm Sexy, Maggie May, Have I Told You Lately?
Have I told you lately that I love you?
Forever Young, Hot Legs, Reason to Believe, and many more.
Will I look to find a reason to believe?
Rod Stewart has sold over 120 million albums and become one of the greatest voices in popular music. Now, for the first time ever, all of Rod's greatest songs together on one CD. Just $18.98 plus $4.95 shipping and handling. Call now and receive a free Rod Stewart poster with your paid order.
And in my heart, you'll always stay forever young.
The very best of Rod Stewart. Over 70 minutes of classic Rod, including Some Guys Have All the Luck, You're in My Heart, This Old Heart of Mine.
This old heart of mine been broke 1,000 times, each time you break away.
You Wear It Well, Rhythm of My Heart, and many more. The very best of Rod Stewart. 16 of Rod Stewart's original recordings are on this remarkable collection.
When I see you tonight, on a downtown train.
To order the very best of Rod Stewart, call the number on your screen or send $18.98 for one CD plus $4.95 shipping and handling to the address shown. Call now and receive a free Rod Stewart poster with your paid order. Rush delivery available.
If your pencils look like mine did, there's something you can do. Ask your doctor if the Nicotrol inhaler is right for you. Or for more information, call 1-800-INHALER. Call today.
I'm the bus lady. Some mornings I was so constipated I could hardly drive. Till I tried X-Lax Milk of Magnesia. Stimulant-free. Guaranteed relief by 8 a.m.
Good morning.
X-Lax Milk of Magnesia with the X-Lax Good Morning Guarantee.
Tonight,
If I'm dead, you let someone know what happened. He went to meet with a man who might want to kill him.
it begins with a warning.
I think I should go to the police. Client told you what happened in confidence. It won't matter if he's dead.
It ends with the most shocking 5 minutes you've ever witnessed.
I should have never let him go.
On a new Practice, tonight after Alias, starting at 9/8 Central on ABC.
The man who provided the inspiration for Ernest Hemingway's The Old Man and the Sea died today. Gregorio Fuentes was the captain of the novelist's boat in Cuba. Fuentes died in the little fishing village made famous by their adventures. He was 104 years old. Finally, tonight, the Ford Motor Company announced this past week it is discontinuing 4 of its models, including its flagship Lincoln Continental. The luxury car has had an extraordinary ride. ABC's David Wright looks back 62 years.
Frank Lloyd Wright called it the most beautiful car in the world, a ride worthy of a president or the king. That era is now at an end.
This is not the first time Ford has discontinued the Lincoln Continental name, and truth be told, it's not one of the company's big sellers. In fact, rumors of its demise have been circulating since last summer.
The Continental had a great run. The first model, made in 1939, was a convertible V12, custom built for Henry Ford's son, Edsel, who wanted a Florida car with a European look.
He's supposed to have said, I want a car that's strictly continental in appearance, and that was the name that was applied to the production car.
His one-of-a-kind car caused such a stir, Ford put it into production the following year. Sure, it was pricey. The sticker price for this model, $10,000. A tidy sum in 1956. A Cadillac back then cost half as much. But the Continental had an understated elegance, especially in its most famous incarnation, the sleek Art Deco lines of the 1960s models. This stretch limo, now at the Henry Ford Museum in Dearborn, Michigan, took President Kennedy through Dealey Plaza. When North Korea's president, Kim Il-sung, died, a Continental hearse carried his body to the grave. Car enthusiasts can't help but be a little wistful.
A little bit of our youth, our dad had a Lincoln Continental, and this is going away.
So the T-Bird went away, and now it's back. The Lincoln Continental's going away. It'll be back, so just wait a couple years. They'll be back.
Until then, luxury will have to go by another name. David Wright, ABC News, Los Angeles.
And that's our report tonight. I'm Carol Simpson. For all of us here at ABC News, have a good week and good night.
This week, where do elephants go when they retire? This woman gives them the sanctuary she thinks they deserve. Plus, a breakthrough for Alzheimer's patients on World News Tonight.
So, you think it's right shooting unarmed people?
Well, I don't know if it's right, but it makes a lot more sense than shooting the armed one. Those guys are dangerous.
The Job is back Wednesday, 9:30, 8:30.